Get ready.
Imagine a place feared by men the world over. A land of danger and terror. All within the mind of a child. Travel to the treacherous Monster Island. See cataclysmic confrontations as Godzilla tackles a host of motley mutants.
Isn't he scary?
Who dares to oppose Godzilla? Experience true adventure in Godzilla's Revenge.
Sure, fuck it. Why not? So, after a night of scrolling through HBO, for some reason they really want me to watch this movie again. No matter how many times I've seen it or how many other movies I watch, they always recommend it to me. So, yeah, okay, why the fuck not? Godzilla's Revenge, or All Monsters Attack as it's known in Japan, is one of the most hated movies in the Godzilla fandom. For pretty good reason. It's kind of different from what you would expect from a Godzilla movie, taking place completely in a child's brain and being very Manila focused, who is already a little controversial with fans. So when I saw this movie, I fucking hated it. And every other time I've seen it, because I'm a big Godzilla fan and I've just watched these movies so many times. So do I still hate this movie? Sort of, but I kind of don't. It's complicated. Bear with me, but I think there's actually a kind of good movie in here somewhere. While considered by many to be the worst Godzilla movie, is that something I would agree with? Still not sure. While I dislike other Godzilla movies a lot more, I can't honestly say that this is better than any of those or anything even remotely close to a good movie. Nevertheless, I do kind of like it. Yeah, it has so bad it's good qualities to it, but I'd also argue it's not as entertaining enough to fall perfectly into that category. Although I can't really hate it because it's classic Showa era Godzilla with rubber suits and all. And while this movie does use a lot of stock footage, mostly from Son of Godzilla, like a whole lot, it still does have some original fights and an original kaiju, Gabra, who sucks, but still take him over any bullshit legendary titan any day of the week. His shocking powers are kind of cool, and I like that he's an asshole bully. It's kind of funny. I guess the message being that you should stand up for yourself is fine enough. Not exactly deep, and good lord, we did not need a talking Manila to achieve that. Oh.
Godzilla says that I should learn to fight my own battles, you know.
The worst parts of the movie are where they're not actually on Monster Island with the kaiju. The movie is about a boy being bullied who also gets kidnapped by I don't know, Yakuza? All of the kaiju scenes happen in his subconscious and are what he uses as sort of a cope mechanism to overcome his kidnappers and eventually his bullies in a sequence that will give you a seizure before making you give an ounce of a shit about this boy. The kid is just a little too annoying, and everything about this reminds me of a Gamera flick and not Godzilla. And the bad Gamera movies, like the really, really bad Gamera movies. But honestly, this is at least worse than most of those, which is a testament to its bullshit. That's what I've always thought of the movie, and I've seen it many times, but I actually did decide to rewatch it for this video, and I felt my brain expand just a bit. And I don't know, maybe I'm crazy, but I didn't really hate it this time. I try to pick out new things I didn't notice when I rewatch one of these movies, because, I'm a big Godzilla guy, so I tend to watch these movies pretty often. This time, I really appreciated a lot of the shot composition. It's just like these really great wide shots and a lot of this kid being alone in like abandoned warehouses or these dilapidated buildings. And it really kind of just paints this picture of poverty. It helped kind of by the beginning. And honestly, I think watching it in sub instead of the dub
Godzilla says.
Nope.
was a lot better. Just because I really got a better feel for the performance, and the kid was a lot less annoying, honestly. And I actually kind of sort of grew to like him a little. You actually do kind of feel bad for this kid and the kind of struggling household he's from. And you do want to see him overcome the bullies. I do still think the Yakuza or kidnapper subplot is a little strange and kind of out of place, but I suppose we need some sort of threat and something to be the Gabara stand-in. And I guess a lot of people don't really like this movie because of just how much Manila there is, but I could go on record and say I am a Manila fan and I actually really do enjoy Son of Godzilla. So maybe that's why I don't really mind him so much here, even if he shrinks and talks, which is terrible in both versions, quite frankly. But hey, at least it's in this kid's brain, and in the Japanese version, he doesn't sound like a dying old man, which is a little better. Although he shouldn't really talk at all. The fight itself is okay. I like Godzilla kind of pushing him to fight this giant monster, which is just bullying and beating the living shit out of him before Godzilla actually decides to help. It is sort of just reheating those Son of Godzilla nachos. I mean, they also just reuse a bunch of the footage, but hey, we could do worse. This is kind of the late Showa era age where a lot of these movies were just kind of slapped together stock footage. At the very least, it was directed by the series creator, Shiro Honda, so there is a bit more of a visual flair to this that I think really helps it not feel as cheap as some of these movies tend to, like Ebra Horror of the Deep or something like that. I gotta say, the pacing wasn't too bad. I remember always being bored from this movie, but honestly, watching it again was pretty refreshing. It's only an hour and 10 minutes or so, and it goes by fairly quickly. Although I will say that some of the bad stuff in this movie is still pretty bad. Especially that fight scene at the end where you just feel like you're gonna get a seizure. I really don't know what the intention was with that. And some of the scenes, if you're not like interested in Japanese culture, I think you'll just be kind of bored by. And especially a lot of the stuff with the kid in the beginning. But I don't know. I didn't really mind it. I mean, this is a kid's movie after all. And I think if I was a kid in the 70s, I might have actually loved this movie. But I don't know. Maybe I'm just going crazy from all this Hollywood schlock that we've been getting from this series that never really seems to care and has lowered the minimum standard to something that at times resembles television more than cinema. But hey, that's a whole other essay. I'm just glad that something that's supposedly this bad and this shit actually looks good and gives somewhat of a shit. Just seriously watch the sub over the dub because it is night and day. Honestly, if you're a Godzilla fan, I really think you ought to revisit this movie, obviously in the sub. And I don't know, maybe go in with a bit more of an open mind and try to remember this is kind of a different idea and a different approach to one of these movies, and it's not exactly what you might want. But I don't know, I think you might find something more interesting than you expect. And let's really ask ourselves, is this movie really as bad as Ebra or The Deep or some of the other Showa Godzilla movies? I don't know. I think it's a little better than a lot of the schlock that Toho was releasing around this time. But hey, maybe you disagree with me, and if so, that's okay. Just leave a really long comment about it, and maybe I'll read it. Hey, thanks for watching the video. Been meaning to do something on Godzilla properly for quite some time now on the channel. Kind of funny how it turned out being about Godzilla's Revenge or All Monsters Attack, if you prefer that title. Which both don't really make sense because Godzilla's Revenge, who is he getting revenge on? He's barely a character in the movie. And All Monsters Attack, there's like 3 monsters, but you know, whatever. Yeah, I actually have a lot of appreciation for this film after like going back to it so many times, but I think that's like some sort of Stockholm syndrome, maybe. So yeah, I kind of wanted to present both sides to it, kind of like how I felt before and how I felt now. I hope that doesn't feel too jarring, but I think it translates okay in the video. But if it didn't, let me know. And yeah. I really appreciate like just all sorts of feedback. But yeah, we got some big plans, some big ideas. I'm planning at least 1 hour-long video soon. It'll be kind of different. I hope that's not too weird, but yeah, definitely more Godzilla related content soon and other kaiju. I think it might be fun to do something on Gamera or maybe some of those other schlocky Toho movies that I really enjoy. Or maybe the one Toho King Kong movie that has the robot King Kong. I don't know. It could be fun. Well, anyway, thanks for watching, and thank you to my editor Barl for editing this video, who always does a great job. And yeah, have a great rest of your day.
We await your return, warrior.